Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface. Now good news, the Warlords of Draenor Alpha is out and it is being tested. Bad news is it's being tested by Blizzard Entertainment employees only, so we can't participate. Boo hiss, but I don't think this alpha is going to go on for particularly long. I think this is going to be a relatively short alpha, and I think the beta is going to be available for launch really soon. And just to kind of back that theory up, you can actually download the beta right now from battle.net. You can go to your battle.net account, go into the client section, and download the Warlords of Draenor beta. You can't access it yet, you can't participate, the servers aren't live, but it's there in preparation. It's about 22 gig download. I think it's going to be out sooner rather than later, so if you're wanting to participate or hoping to participate, get it on your PC in preparation. Now, even better news on top of this is they've announced and actually printed out their changes to the 11 classes for Warlords of Draenor 2. Couple of things that we do have to bear in mind. These are the very first changes that they're doing. These are the 6.0 changes. This is for the alpha client. There's no doubt a lot of these changes will probably tweaked and worked and such and so on. So if things don't sound great for your class, don't get all panicky just yet. What they're trying to do is they're trying to bring things into some semblance of balance, because a lot of the tweaks have got to do with PvP. And also remember, because the item squish within Warlords of Draenor, so we're all having our health pools and damage pools and all that kind of stuff squashed right down. They've got to try and work around that as well. Now, I'm going to do a video on each of the 11 classes to discuss the changes to them. I've been bullied and bullied in messages, so okay, I will do it. But if I am going to do it, I'm going to start off with my beloved class, which of course is the Warlock class. So let's just get straight into it. Quite a few changes to the Warlock, in as much as abilities just getting a little tweak and a lot of abilities being removed. You'll again see that a lot of the tweaked abilities are PvP related, and a couple of the removed abilities very intrigued about. So again, we'll go into that. Now, first things first, curses are getting a wee bit of change. Alright? Firstly, Curse of Enfeeblement is going. It's just being removed completely. And Curse of Elements and Curse of Exhaustion are actually going to work on all mobs within a 10-yard radius. So if you have got mobs grouped up for AoEing, you dump Curse of Elements on them for argument's sake. It hits everything within 10 yards. So it now has a small, so don't get too panicky, but it's got a small AoE environment, especially, so it's all for grouped up AoE kind of mobs. So it's not really going to have that much of effect in PvP unless you're sat on each other's faces. Because of this, the Metamorphosis Curse Auras has also been removed from the game. So because that tweaked the curses, that's gone. Now, Fire and Brimstone will no longer apply to curses, which is good, because I actually found it rather annoying that I could have my Fire and Brimstone active and then it would just cock up the curses because of the burning embers and stuff, and I thought, I missed out, could have done multi-incinerates and whatnot. So Fire and Brimstone will now no longer work with curses either. So Curse Aura for meta, for demonology, and Fire and Brimstone will no longer apply. Curses will just have an automatic 10-yard AoE zone with which to hit people. Soulburn, because Affliction looks like it's going to get the most changes, Soulburn will no longer work on Curse of Elements, as we just discussed, Curse of Exhaustion. It will neither work on Drained Life, Health Funnel, or Undying Breath. They're all gone from Soulburn. Drained Soul is being removed completely. That makes me go, wow. So Drained Soul gone. That used to be one of the fundamental, well, in actual fact is just a fundamental aspect of Affliction. So it's going to be rather intriguing to see why that's gone and what they're going to replace it with. Because it's kind of like Affliction's Execute, and it's always been a great way to get soul shards back and all this kind of stuff. So intrigued to find out the reasoning behind the removal of Drained Soul. Fell Flame removed as well. This scares me a little bit, because I love to use Fell Flame as an instant pew-pew. And I do use it quite a lot in Destruction spec. I don't know if you use it too much in Demonology or Affliction. I wouldn't imagine too much in Affliction. Maybe a little bit in Demonology, but I use it a fair bit in Destruction, but that's gone. Now, I do know that Blizzard are working, or at least discussing, the fact of all spellcasters being able to cast a move in some form or other. But I don't know if that has something to do with it. We shall see later on down the line. Metamorphosis Carrion Swarm removed from the game. I know that when I messed around with Demonology, I didn't particularly use it much, so it's no big loss for me. And Metamorphosis Void Ray also gone. Again, that was another one I didn't particularly use either. So I don't know if they're being just got rid of because they weren't that much utility. But locks, or definitely locks that play Demonology as their main spec, let me know about that one. But I never seem to use either particularly much. But they're both gone from the game. Pyroclasm has been removed as a passive ability. It's a passive talent as far as I can remember. That's the one where if you hit Fire and Brimstone, if you hit your Conflagrates, sorry, that's it. If you hit your Conflagrates and you get your 3 charges of Backdraft, you can either use it on separate Incinerates, or you can use up all 3 charges to fire out 1 Chaos Bolt. So that's been removed, but it's now been put onto baseline Backdraft. So it's just kind of like tidying up. That's just a little bit of tidying up utility. So the actual utility of that spell still exists. It's just been moved to Backdraft as well, which you'll activate through hitting your Conflagrates. And the Pyroclasm, gone. Seed of Corruption is going to be Affliction's only AoE. You're not going to be able to use Rain of Fire anymore. So Rain of Fire is being removed from Affliction spec. And it's going to be Seed of Corruption only for you guys. So again, I can understand that. I'm not going to go into the Death Knight ones now, but just going through some of the other classes, Blizzard do seem to be trying to make each spec within a class feel more unique. There's been way, way, way too much homogenization in the World of Warcraft over recent years. Way too much, if you ask me. So I think they're trying to give their own distinct feel to each and every spec, which is a good thing. I like that. I like the theory behind that. Now we get on to a lot of the PvP stuff. Blood Horror is now going to have a 60-second cooldown, so that goes up. Again, that's not a bad thing for me. I'm liking these tweaks to PvP. They're sort of increasing all of the cooldown times on abilities, PvP, CC abilities, and also putting a lot of the diminishing returns together. Because Blood Horror is now also going to share a diminishing return with Mesmerize effects, which is going to play a big part. So the Mesmerize effects are things like Succubus's Seduction and the Shivara has also got Mesmerize as an ability. But it's also going to bring in things like Mortal Coil. That's going to share a diminishing return with Mesmerize effects as well, which I quite like as well. Now, Fell Hunter, Spell Lock, getting a tweak, getting a big tweak. You will probably find this throughout all classes as well. Spell Lock is going to interrupt, but it's now no longer going to silence. Because it had a lockout, it had a 3-second lockout, I think it was. It's been a while since a PB feed. But it used to have a 3-second or so lockout period. No more. It's going to interrupt your spellcasting if you are spellcasting, but it's not going to lock you out of any schools. It's not going to silence you. You can get straight back into your spellcasting. It's going to be the same with the Observer's Optic Blast. Again, it's going to do damage. It's going to interrupt, but it's now no longer going to silence. So that, again, I think that's a PvP tweak. Seer Magic is going to have an increase in its cooldown from 20 seconds to 30 seconds. So again, they're increasing these cooldowns on what could potentially be used as CC, or, in this case, getting rid of a debuff. on myself, but it's all kind of PvP related. Terror Guards, when they die, they're no longer going to cast Terrifying Roar. So that's one form of CC just kind of like gone completely. Unbound Will, which removes all the nasty debuffs from you, has had its cooldown raised from 1 minute to 2 minutes. So again, that is most definitely PvP orientated as opposed to PvE orientated. There's not many times I actually don't even spec into Unbound Will for PvE. It's one thing that I use for PvP only. And it was an ability that I used in the Canrathad fight, but that was pretty much it. And the Void Walker and the Void Lords are no longer going to be able to disarm. So that's another form of CC removed. Pet CCs are having quite a big work in Warlords of Draenor. So again, that one is just completely gone. So you're going to find a few of these CCs, the lesser CCs, are just going to completely go from the game. We've already seen 2 with the Warlock here. Void Lords with the Void Walkers, I'm going to class them as 1. And also the Terror Guard, when that dies. So they're just completely removed. And also tweaks, of course, to the Succubi, and the Shivara, and the Fell Hunter, and the Observer classes. No longer being able to... Also sharing diminishing returns, but no longer being able to lock people out with their spell schools. So, again, don't panic. If anybody... I like the sound of this. Although it seems like massive nerfs... No, I like the sound of this. I like the sound of this, because this to me... says they want more combat in PvP. I mean, more fragfest combat, as opposed to who can CC the longest wins. Because that's just bullshit. It's just boring bullshit. So this is saying, look, you've got to really think about where you use your CCs, in what situations you use your CCs, or your CC prevention abilities, because once you do, they're going on a fair cooldown. And I like that. I like that a lot. But they're the initial changes to the Warlock class for the alpha of Warlords of Draenor. So, Locks, let me know what you think. Everyone else, chime in, because obviously this is PvP related. So how does that sound to you from a PvP point of view, full stop? And if anyone's going to complain about the curses going in a 10-yard radius, whatever. There's still plenty of time for Blizzard to tweak stuff if it gets too OP, remember. It's only alpha stages. We've probably got a good, like I said, 4 to 6 months of testing before this goes live. But intriguing. Very, very intriguing indeed. Especially with the removal of Drain Soul and Fell Flame as well. And also, sorry, one more. Soul Shatter. Gone. Phew. Soul Shatter's gone as well. I thought Undying Breath was going, but I haven't seen anything about that yet. But yeah, Soul Shatter is gone. And in all fairness, that doesn't bother me, because the only time I've ever used Soul Shatter in Mists of Pandaria is when we're wiping, and I Soul Shatter to make sure everyone dies before me so I can do more DPS. And that's pretty much it. It hasn't had that much of a use for me. But yeah, interesting changes to the Warlock class thus far. Plenty of time for things to alter. But let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed the vid. Please do like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook and also twitch.tv/Heal versus Babyface for live streaming. And I shall be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.